guys, it's Nick the Booksmith. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome back to my channel. And we're going to do another project today that has to do with using up our paper scrap pile because I have a sizable one. And let me show you. Here it is. Here's my pile of scraps. Let me move out a little bit here so you can see better. So this is like a strawberry box, and it's just filled with little bits and pieces of stuff that just offcuts and that kind of thing. You know, your paper's too big. So anyway, I thought I would show you what I like to do with these scraps. I'm just going to grab some off the top, and we'll just, you know, we'll work with a little pile on the top, and then the rest we'll do something with that later. Alrighty, so some people call these, I call them Franken-pages, and I've heard them called crazy quilt pages. So if you don't know what those are, it's basically taking your scraps and it's piecing them together into a full page. So personally, I like to bind pages that are 8.5 by 11 size, you know, just regular standard copy paper size. So that's kind of what I'm going to be going for, but you don't really have to worry about that right off the bat. Just kind of take, this is a little craft bag that was in there, so I'm just going to start with that. I don't know why, we're just going to do that. Did you hear that? That's the cat. That is the cat talking to the sunlight coming through the door. Okay, and let's take something with some color. I'm just going to take this bag, maybe something like that. I have some of this hand marbled Italian paper, but I don't want to use it all. So we'll just kind of rip that in half. And we'll get one of those out. Here's just some tea stain paper, some leftover like Tim Holtz cardstock. Here's a piece of ledger paper was too big, throw that in there. Here's a strip from another Franken page that I made. Here's some book page. So let's start working this together and see what we can come up with. So I'm going to want generally a piece that's going to be about 8.5 by 11. So if you want to rip your edges or ink your edges or something like that, you just absolutely go for it. It looks cool when you do that, so at least I think so. I'm going to take my glue. And I'm just going to start piecing things together. So this is just a piece of tea-stained paper. And I'm just going to add some glue onto the back of this. And let's just place it down here. Make sure I'll just line that up. Just place that down there, like that. And let's see. I like, I don't know, maybe something here. Maybe this piece. So our goal is to make a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 11 so that we can bind it into our book. And so I'm just gonna kind of line that up and put that there, and you don't have to line anything. Definitely not the point, but I just figured I would today. Okay, so we got this so far. And let's take this piece of marbled paper and give it a go. Where do I want it? You know, you can put them anywhere. It doesn't even matter. Oh, I don't know. I'll just put it down here for now. Just 'cause. Just 'cause. Let's see, I'll line this up for some reason. I think I need to do that. And you don't. If you have one of these cutting mats with grids, you can totally mark out your area and make exactly the size of page if you want. I don't usually do that. It's not something I'm usually doing. Usually don't line anything up. So here's another little piece left over from this. Got some ladies' legs on it, so you know that's interesting. So let's do this. Let's put some glue on the back of this guy, just on one side, because wherever it's going to touch another piece of paper is where you want to line it up. Right there. And let's just take some more, just some more tea-stained paper. I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to glue this back here somehow. So I'm going to put some glue on the edge of this one, and some glue over here on this one, because I know I'm going to cover up this empty spot right here. So I'm going to glue there. And you can always lift it up. So let's get that all on there. And then you can lift it up, and wherever you don't have glue, you can add some glue down there. There we go. Let's turn that back over. And we kind of need something up in this general vicinity. So let's get something with some color. Maybe this piece of Tim Holtz cardstock. Just to do it. Just to do it, man. Let's see how far it goes over. It goes over about to here. So let's put some glue here. And then along the bottom edge. Like that. And we'll just kind of do that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trim this down at some point to get our exact measurement. So you're just basically gluing a big enough piece of everything together to make an 8.5 by 11, or if you want to make a 12 by 12, whatever size it is that you would like to make, absolutely go for that. I'm going to take a piece of this book page that was in the scraps, and I'm going to kind of just start layering some interesting things on top of my base. Even though the base is very interesting, I'm going to, you know, you can't stop, so let's use up those scraps. Let's make some interesting things happen. So I'm just going to kind of land that right in there. And of course, remember, we're going to be folding this in half too. So you're going to have two sides, and then you're going to have a back side as well. And let's take a piece of ledger. There's a nice grungy piece of ledger. And we can just kind of add that in over here. I need to go get glue. I'm almost out of glue. That's not a good thing, ever. So let's put some glue just right here is fine. Let's get that ledger in there. We'll be cutting that off later. And use that on something else. Let's see. I've got like these old Rolodex cards. We can also, you can turn it over. So once you get the front kind of interesting, you can turn it over and do the same thing to the back as well. And I've got some dictionary pages that are left over. So it's kind of an interesting little scrap here. So we're just going to glue that on. And for sure, if you are making a book that has a theme, whether it's a, you know, for somebody's anniversary, or maybe it's a trip, or, you know, family memories, or maybe it's a color theme, or maybe it's a nautical theme. I mean, you can always grab out your pieces that would go with that theme and make your Franken-pages kind of, you know, go along that kind of idea. Let's see. Let me see how tall this is so far. It is about 9 inches. So I just got to remember that I'm going to be cutting about 1 inch off the top of this, or the bottom, you know, whatever. And maybe I will see where the middle's going to be. Okay. So maybe I will take this little Rolodex thingy and I will put some glue on the back of this guy. And we're just going to kind of layer this, I don't know, right there. There we go. Just kind of glue that down. And then this side needs something. It needs something. But it needs something kind of plain because it is kind of crazy. So here's some tracing paper. And we can layer some things up. So, you know, grab out your, you know, your different pieces and see what you like to go with this crazy, oh, it's a lot of texture, a lot of pattern. There's a long strip. So we could turn this over here. Well, I guess we don't need to turn it over. Tracing paper is the same on the front and the back, right? So I will glue this tracing paper down. And then I have this piece of tea-stained paper that I can also glue over maybe the top of that. Like that. Of course, it's way too long and I put glue on the end of it. So I'm going to trim that off real quick because it's going to get glue everywhere. And we'll just kind of stick it over here. Just put it down here and you can stamp a word on that later. Okay. And depending on how, you know, elaborate you want to get, you just, you know, you just go for it. It's totally up to you. However it is you would like to make your pages. If you want to make them very plain, go for that. And if you want to make them really elaborate and use up more scraps, you know, that's totally up to you. Just keep layering until you feel like you're done. Just remember, like I said before, you got to fold it somewhere in the middle. If you're going to be binding this into a book, it's going to have to be folded. So try not to make it too bulky around the midway point so that it's hard to bind into the middle of a book. So I took this Tim Holtz cardstock. It's got some eggs on it. And I'm just going to kind of layer this somewhere. I'm not really sure where. Maybe over here. And then I think that I'm gonna cut it down and then I'll show you what we're gonna do next. Okay. So let's layer this over here. Just like that. Of course, part of that's gonna be cut off, but it's all right. It doesn't matter. Because it's not wrong. You know, whatever it is that you do, it's not gonna be wrong. So don't worry. I feel like I need something over here. So let's take this piece of Tim Holtz paper and let's kind of rip it down a little bit and ink around this guy. So I felt I needed something down here. It felt a little off balance or something. So let's, I don't know. Let's do that. All right. So let's get out our handy dandy, trusty, I hate this thing cutter. You guys know I hate this thing. And we're gonna cut this down to 8.5 by 11. So, and you can cut off the bottom or the top. That's up to you. I'm gonna cut it, I think, off the top. Okay, and you can use this piece on another one. And then you can choose what side you're going to cut off, because it's going to be longer than 11. Probably a lot longer than 11. I did not choose that wisely. Oh wait, there's 11. So a little bit's going to get cut off this side, or alternatively, you can flip that around and see what would get cut off this side. I'm going to cut off this side. Even though I just glued that on there. It's okay. All right. So now we've got our 8.5 by 11. And I am now going to take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to choose some of these seams to stitch up. And you absolutely do not have to sew on this at all. They look cool just like they are. There is nothing wrong with this thing, but I sew everything. So we are going to go do that real quick. You want to come with me to the sewing machine? I will try not to make y'all dizzy. Okay, let's go. All right, guys, here we are at the sewing machine. Please excuse my mess in the background. And we're just going to start choosing some places to sew since the end of that bag is now open. I think I'm going to zigzag down the middle of that strip on the opposite side and close up that bag. And I think I'll zigzag because I usually do. And go all the way down, and then that closes the end of that bag. You could have left it open too, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to. So we're just gonna sew that up and pretend it never happened. All right, now I'm gonna look around a little bit and see where we can add some places. I think I want to maybe stitch around that little Rolodex card, perhaps. And maybe that would look kind of cool. So I'm going to just zigzag around the edge of this little guy. Should have some music playing in the background. I tried to record just talking through this on the camera, and for some reason the audio didn't work on the camera. So I don't know. I gotta talk over this stupid thing. So that'll be real interesting. It should be a real great narration. Hope you're all ready. I'm gonna back stitch because I couldn't fit the paper. That's one of the hazards. So I'm just going to back stitch instead of trying to roll the paper up underneath the arm of the sewing machine. And I'm going to sew down this edge. And I usually back stitch at the end. And I'm going to sew up this side just to go horizontally instead of vertically. So I thought I'd just kind of stitch down the edge of this tea-stained paper as well. And let's turn it over and sew along some other seams. I wanted to sew along this piece of tea-stained paper, so I decided to go ahead and do that. And of course, here we go back stitching again because the paper is too big. So I thought that piece needed a little bit of stitching along that side. Okay. It looks pretty good, guys. Looks pretty good. I think I'm just about done here. Oh, one more. No, I'm a liar. One more piece. Yeah, I thought this little corner needed some extra stitching. It was unbalanced or something. I don't know. My OCD was screaming at me, so had to fix it. All right, so now we're going to go back to the work table and get this all finished up. All right, we are back at the work table, and again, the audio cut out on me, so here we go again. We're going to finish this up, and what I think I would like to do is grab some ink and get some stamps out and maybe add a little bit of extraness to this side. Here's a little calendar stamp. I'll just plop that guy right there. And maybe I'll get this one. You know, stamps are free. You know, if you've already got them, right? You got the ink laying around, you might as well use them up. So I'm going to grab these little teeny tiny leaves and add the leaves to the little Rolodex card in the back. I think that looks kind of cute. And I don't have my alphabet stamps, but I wanted to put something in that little label type dealio that I put on that Rolodex card. That one right there. So I am going to grab a piece of the scrap paper that has some text on it, and I'm just going to rip a little piece of that off. And I'm going to just grab some glue, I think. We're just going to put that right there. Just because it needed something. It just needed something. And we're going to put that right there. I think that looks good. Just adds a little bit of text. Some nice bold text to the bottom of the page. That looks good. I like that. All right, and I got this little ticket stamp. And I'm going to plop that guy right there. Let's see, what else did I get? Oh, I'm just talking about the stamps I grabbed. Riveting, just riveting. And on this side, I thought that little yellow spot needed something. And what goes better with yellow than bees? I guess. So a bee went there. And I'm waving my hands around. I do not remember what I was saying, but I'm obviously done stamping because there I go, kind of pushing stuff aside and putting the lid back on the glue. Okay, so we're gonna look at our page. I think it looks pretty good. I love all the different pieces all melded together, and the back side looks just as good as the front side. Sometimes the back sides end up looking better. We got to remember we're going to be folding this in the middle, and sometimes when we put cardstock in along with some lighter paper, you might have to get out your scoreboard and give that middle crease maybe a little bit of extra help. Go ahead and crease that cardstock, and then that should help you to be able to fold this paper in half a little bit easier. And there we go. Oh, I think it looks so good. Doesn't it look great? The back side is the best, right? Ah, love it. And I love how the top of the dictionary page said junker. Love that. These are some other pages I have made with some old dictionary, some sheet music, some map paper, just some stuff that was in the scrap pile. Don't throw anything away if you think you can sew it together. Like I said, you don't have to sew. You can just glue it. And a little stamping down on there on that one. And a little strip of sheet music up on the top. And here's another page that I also made. And it's just some random pages, of course, that I had. And there's the inside with a little bit of stamping. And there's the back side. I just think they look great. So get out your scrap pile, kids, and if you have a theme in mind, you know, take out blue if you're using blue, take out travel if you're using travel, and just put these pieces together, just start gluing, and me waving my arms around because I can't remember what I was saying here. but this is what I should have said. So put those pages together, glue them together if you have a sewing machine and you feel inclined. Sew some seams and add some interest. Get out your stamps and stamp around those a little bit. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun. And you're going to use up your scrap pile all at the same time. So win-win, win-win. I am working on finishing up a book cover course. I'm almost done filming that, so that should be out pretty soon. And who knows, there might be something that comes out on YouTube before that comes out. I'm really good at distracting myself and starting on new projects, so we'll see what happens. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me today and playing with me, and have a good one.